Welcome to the Giants Huddle, a New York Giants podcast.
I'm Madeline Burke, and welcome to another edition of the Giants Huddle Podcast, which you can find on Giants.com, the Giants mobile app, and also all of your favorite podcast platforms. Make sure you subscribe and leave a positive review if you like what you hear. Today, we have a very special guest, former Giants head coach Tom Coughlin. And Coach, we are here today to talk about a player who I know is very near and dear to you, Eli Manning. The Giants quarterback, of course, announcing his retirement after 16 seasons in the NFL. But what were your first impressions of Eli, and what's the story about how the Giants drafted him?
Well, it was a great one, first of all, because we go to New Orleans for the workout. Eli's going to have a workout. So the story goes like this, and I didn't know this part of it till afterwards. Let's say the workout's at 12:15, okay? So Archie's there, and there's all kinds of, the whole NFL is there, waiting for Eli to get there to work out. So Archie calls Eli, and he goes, Eli, the workout's at 12:15. It's about 11:45. Where are you? Eli, I stopped to get something to eat. Perfect, right? For Eli, you got to know. So in he comes in the door, everybody's there, and he's got four of his guys he's working out with that he's going to throw to. And he's very casual. You know, he's got that little bit of shy, but he goes over, warms up a little bit, and then I don't think the ball ever touched the ground. It was a great workout. It was an indoor workout, and he just had a fabulous day. But the great part about it is when you think about, and this is Archie telling, that's me, not me. But if it was Peyton would have got there at 11 o'clock in the morning, made sure all the doors were unlocked. You know, Eli gets there 10 minutes before he's supposed to throw, and his dad asked him where he was. He said, I had to stop to get something to eat. And that's it right there. So we draft him, and of course Ernie Accorsi now. Ernie makes a deal, and in comes Eli, mom and dad, and Tom Coughlin with him. And you know, he's Eli. You know, He's quiet. He's a little bit on the quiet side, and he's a little bit shy. But there's no question about the fact he's glad to be a New York Giant. And but that was the workout where everybody was there and said hello to him. You know, so he didn't remember anybody. And then when we got him in the building after we drafted him, you know, good-looking young man, tall, you know, athletic, and so on and so forth. Dad and mom, and the whole story of the Mannings, and it was a good experience.
What was the moment you realized he was a franchise quarterback?
Well, we won 11 games his second year. You know, we the first year he was a rookie. We had Kurt Warner and we had Eli, and they were told that they were going to compete, and that's exactly what they did. And so right at the end of training camp, by just a hair, I told both Eli and Kurt that Kurt would be the starter, Eli would be the backup. Eli, of course, as competitive as he is, he didn't like that. He accepted it. He's a pro, and he supported Kurt all the way. After 7 games, we were 4-3. We were a pretty good football team, but we didn't play well at Arizona, and I thought it was a game we should have won. We didn't win it. So when we came back home, it was time, in my opinion, for us to move our number 1 draft choice into a position as the starting quarterback. So we move him in, and right away we have a game with Washington and a game with Baltimore, and they blitz the daylights out of him. He's just a kid, you know. He's a rookie, and he's trying to, which you do to every rookie, but he's trying to fight his way through that. And it wasn't a good stretch, you know. We lost games, but we beat Dallas in the last game of the season. And even in those kind of years, when you win your last game, it's a lifter. And we won the game by going for 2. I'll never forget Ernie Accorsi looking at me after the game, because, you know, we could have just kicked an extra point and put it into overtime. But it was a 50-degree night in, I believe it was early January or late December, last 17th week. And we score, and we're going to go for 2, and he's got a run-pass option. So Eli looks it over, and against certain looks you run the ball, against certain looks you throw the ball. Well, he checks to the run, okay? The run for the 2-point play to win the game. And Tiki Barber was the running back. And Tiki was supposed to take the ball in such a way, but he was going to get up in the line of scrimmage as fast as he could, to take advantage of whatever he could. And he made it, He scored. We win the game. Now we're all excited, We've been through this orientation process now. We got this young kid, well on his way. We're going to have a great offseason because of that, blah, blah, blah. And we go out the next year and win 11 games.
There are so many stories about Eli Manning, but I want to go back to 2007 and that Green Bay game.
Well, let's start the week before, because we go to Dallas. Dallas has beaten us twice during the regular season. We have to beat them to advance to Green Bay to play in the NFC Championship game. There's about 46 seconds left in the first half. We're in our own territory. Eli takes us the length of the field in a short amount of time, throws a touchdown pass to Amani Toomer, and really that was the play, scoring there and making that happen. And now it's halftime, and we come back out, and it's more of the same, and we do win a game, which of course nobody ever gave us a chance to win any of these games. And Dallas had beat us twice, but that drive that Eli put together, and then the ball to Amani Toomer, the touchdown, that sent us on our way. And then to go to Green Bay, I went out pregame with just a baseball cap, no earmuffs, nothing on my hands. I'm out there about 2 seconds, and it was like, how am I going to get back inside before my ears break off? But to think that he went out there with, just his minus 27 wind chill, and he's throwing spirals to, Plaxico had a big day, obviously. But that was, you talk about mental toughness now, because we pound away on that. We pounded away on mental toughness. The ability to handle things in a diverse situation to the best of your ability, to stay focused. And that's what that team did. But to watch him, perform, and Plaxico and our whole team, basically, even under the circumstances of, the bad snap right before we're going to kick a field goal to win the game. And regulation, get the bad snap, obviously a shank, Lawrence Tynes. And I had asked him earlier in the day whether he could make a 46-yarder. It was a 47-yard field goal. He starts on the field. I yell out field goal. Everybody's going, no, don't do it, coach. Don't do it. He kicks a field goal. He could have made it from 55. That was that kind of kick.
Going up, though, against Brett Favre with Bart Starr walking out onto the field pregame, he just seemed so unaffected.
I'm sure it was inside, but he was always cool. Always cool, cool, calm, and collected. Look at the Super Bowl game against New England when he's in the grass above. I mean, he's spinning around trying to get away, and I'm standing there. We're all standing on the sideline watching it, and Mike Carey is the official, the referee, and he's about to blow the whistle, thinking that he's in the grass above. Nope, he fights his way out of it, and then you never throw the ball down the middle of the field, and get away with it, especially when it looks like it might even be an overthrow. That's going to go the other way. And then David Tyree, it took me a long time to teach David that catch. But David Tyree makes a phenomenal play with the great safety across the back of his legs, and he's falling back and he still hangs on to the ball. I mean, that was amazing. And then, of course, a couple plays later, Plaxico and Eli hook up on the side adjust for the winning touchdown.
Now, that 2007 Super Bowl, it seemed the moment after the game, he just had this calmness to him. And knowing what he had gone through and watching him just kind of exhale in that moment, knowing what he went through to get there, how did you feel seeing him in that state?
It's great that he expressed himself that way. But again, I mean, you talk about the 17th week of that season when it's 38-35, Patriots are going for the 16-0 season, and that type of game. And then to go play in a Super Bowl with a totally different kind of a game, a defensive battle right down to the wire, and to make the key plays at the key times, which is always what he did, okay? You think about big moments. Boy, in a big moment, you want him playing quarterback for you.
Now, some of the things that I know you love about Eli Manning, his loyalty, how he's such a great teammate, his commitment to the community. Not only is he a great football player, but also such a great person. How do you describe him?
I like all of that, but I also like the type of person that he is in the locker room. Because, as you know, the locker room is a lot of give and take, and he can give it and he can take it, and he's great with, the sarcastic remarks. And, if he gets a little something on somebody, he can use it. He always drops it in there at the right time. So he keeps it nice and loose, and everybody is in there kind of competing with one another with their attitudes, and it's all in a positive way. It's all another aspect of pulling a team together, and that's one of the great things that he did was always, his buddies with the offensive linemen. We always look for that. You look for how close the quarterback is with his offensive lineman. In that draft that we're talking about where we picked Eli in the first round, we got Chris Snee in the second round. I mean, woo, there you go. That's a pretty good start to your draft class and your season, and an indication of the things that are coming in the future. So, but that part of Eli, okay, and then there's the competitive part and the on the field part. I learned this a long time ago. They're not talkers. You can't be a talker and be the quarterback because you're engaged so much intellectually in what's going on, even in practice. Keeping everything organized and together and demanding that they be done the right way and all that. That's where the focus of the quarterback is. But because of that, he makes everybody around him play a whole lot better. And that's the thing that you see. And then the loyalty, he always represented the Giants in the best of fashion under any circumstance, whether it be the last few years or whenever it might have been. That was always first and foremost in his mind. Outstanding family man, very loyal to his teammates, very loyal to his coaches. You'd have circumstances where, just something bad happened in a game. Never, ever, ever had to worry about what Eli was going to say and how he was going to represent it afterwards. And we win and lose as a team and that type of thing. And then what he's been able to do in the community and going out into the community and being such a wonderful ambassador, if you will, for not only the Giant organization, but for making these young kids, these cancer kids, feel right at home with a guy who obviously lights up the room when he walks in.
Now, we've talked about a lot of these already so far, but is there another favorite Eli story that you have that you can share?
Well, I like a lot of those stories, but one of the ones that I will tell you told one about when he came down off the podium after Super Bowl 42, having won. And again, nobody gave us a chance to win. Nobody, but the setting in Arizona was great because our hotel, I don't know if you remember, was way out in the middle of nowhere. Our focus was great. I'll never forget the day before the game. The families were all around the pool, relaxing, enjoying each other. All those types of things all fit together for Eli. But the one that I was going to mention was I did all these media things after the game. The head coach never gets to his own locker room after the Super Bowl with a win because, you're taken all over the place to sit down and speak to all the different networks and that type of thing. So when I finally got to the locker room, here was Peyton and Eli right in front of Eli's locker, kind of like this. And it gives me the chills even to talk about it. You knew what Peyton was saying to his brother, his little brother, about what had just been accomplished and what he had just been able to do playing against, and that was, you talk about, that's one of the greatest offensive machines ever to play professional football was that. So, I'm giving credit to our defense, but to be able to, under those circumstances, to take that final drive, we'd like to have less time on the clock for Brady afterwards, but it worked out for us. The big sack in that next drive was critical.
Former Giants head coach Tom Coughlin, thank you so much for joining us on the Giants Huddle podcast. And we appreciate you for being with us here as well on Giants.com and the Giants mobile app. And as a reminder, the show is also available on all popular podcast platforms. So make sure you subscribe or add us to your favorites list. I'm Madeline Burke. We'll see you next time.
Hey Giants fans, Saquon Barkley here. You want to see more videos? Subscribe below.